Now listen here, my dear friends, when it comes to understanding the body's signals, especially in our precious elderly loved ones, we must open our eyes to what nature is telling us. You see, the human body is an extraordinary machine, designed by the Creator with such wisdom that it actually warns us well before the final chapter arrives. But oh my goodness, how many families miss these vital clues simply because they don't understand what they're looking at? I've been teaching natural health principles for decades, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that death doesn't just sneak up on us like a thief in the night. No, no, no! The body sends out clear distress signals, sometimes 12 months before the final transition. But here's the tragedy. Most people are so disconnected from understanding their body's language that these warning signs go completely unnoticed until it's far too late. If this resonates with you and you're ready to embark on this journey of natural healing together, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell. We're building a beautiful community of like-minded souls who believe in the body's incredible capacity to heal when given the right tools. Your subscription helps us reach more people who need this life-changing information, and together we can transform lives one natural remedy at a time. Let me share with you what happened to dear Margaret, whose 5-year-old mother started losing weight dramatically. Barbara, she said to me, "Mum's always been such a good eater, but now she's picking at her food like a bird." You see, Margaret thought it was just her mother being fussy, but what was really happening was far more significant. The body was beginning its final preparation, and if Margaret had understood these signs, she could have provided better care and made those precious final months truly meaningful. Understanding these 5 critical warning signs will give you the power to recognize when your loved one's body is beginning its transition. This knowledge isn't about fear, my friends. It's about empowerment. When you know what's happening, you won't be caught completely off guard. Instead, you'll have the precious gift of time to prepare, time to love, time to ensure their final journey is one of dignity and peace. The very first sign you must watch for is dramatic weight loss without trying. Now pay attention here because this is absolutely crucial. When an elderly person starts losing weight rapidly, and I mean significant weight loss, not just a pound or 2, this is the body's way of telling you that something fundamental is changing. You might notice their clothes hanging loose, their belt needs new holes, or their once hearty appetite simply disappears. Too many families brush this off as just getting older, but I'm here to tell you that's complete nonsense. The digestive system, you see, is one of the first systems to slow down when the body begins preparing for its final phase. The stomach acid production decreases, the intestinal function becomes sluggish, and the body simply cannot extract nutrients from food the way it once did. It's like trying to run a car engine with watered down fuel. Everything starts breaking down. The muscles begin wasting away because the protein isn't being properly absorbed and utilized. But here's what's really happening on a deeper level. The body's innate wisdom is actually redirecting its energy away from building and maintaining muscle mass toward more essential functions. It's preparing for the transition, and weight loss is often the very first visible sign of this process. The appetite changes aren't just about being picky with food, they're physiological changes where the brain stops sending those hunger signals because the body knows it's beginning to wind down. Now, many underlying conditions can accelerate this process. Cancer, heart disease, kidney problems, all of these can manifest first as unexplained weight loss. Even depression and cognitive decline will cause a person to stop eating properly, creating a downward spiral where the body isn't getting the fuel it desperately needs. Have you been noticing these changes in your elderly loved one? Don't ignore them. Some families try to fix this by forcing more food, offering supplements, pushing protein drinks. But listen to me carefully. If the weight continues dropping despite these efforts, you need to understand that this isn't just about nutrition anymore. The body is preparing for something deeper, and forcing large meals may actually cause more discomfort. Focus instead on easy-to-digest foods, proper hydration, and comfort. The second warning sign is profound fatigue and weakness that rest cannot fix. Now, I want you to understand the difference between normal tiredness and what I'm talking about here. This is bone-deep exhaustion that makes getting out of bed feel like climbing Mount Everest. Simple tasks like dressing, cooking, or even holding a conversation become monumentally difficult. This isn't laziness, my friends. This is the body conserving its remaining energy for vital functions. You see, as the organs begin slowing down, the heart doesn't pump with the same efficiency, circulation becomes compromised, and the muscles aren't receiving adequate oxygen. The body's metabolic rate drops significantly because it's shifting into preservation mode. Instead of using energy for movement and activity, it's redirecting everything toward keeping the essential organs functioning. This is why you'll notice increased sleeping, longer daytime naps, and sudden energy crashes. The emotional impact of this fatigue is heartbreaking to witness. These proud, independent individuals who once managed households and careers suddenly can't even make themselves a cup of tea without feeling completely drained. They may withdraw from conversations, stop engaging in activities they once loved, and begin isolating themselves. It's not that they don't care anymore, they simply don't have the energy reserves to maintain their previous level of engagement. For families watching this decline, it's natural to want to encourage more activity, to push them to fight through it. But forcing activity when the body is in this state will only cause more distress. What's needed is understanding, patience, and acceptance that their energy levels have fundamentally changed. Make their environment as comfortable as possible and meet them where they are. The third critical sign involves increasing cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal. Now, this is where many families really struggle to understand what's happening. Someone who was sharp as a tack suddenly starts forgetting names, getting confused about familiar places, or losing track of conversations. They may repeat themselves constantly, become disoriented about time, or fail to recognize people they've known for years. The brain requires a constant supply of oxygen-rich blood to function properly. As circulation becomes compromised and oxygen delivery decreases, cognitive function naturally declines. You might see moments of clarity followed by periods of complete confusion, almost like their mind is flickering like a candle in the wind. This isn't something they can control through willpower or mental exercises. Emotional withdrawal is equally common and equally difficult to witness. They may stop initiating conversations, spend hours sitting quietly, or seem completely disconnected from their surroundings. It's not that they've stopped loving their family, their brain is simply conserving energy and processing emotions differently. Loud environments become overwhelming, social interactions feel exhausting, and they retreat into themselves as protection. Mood changes are also significant indicators. Some become irritable, anxious, or easily agitated. Others become unusually calm, detached, or seemingly indifferent to things that once brought them joy. These aren't personality changes, they're neurological adaptations to the body's declining state. Understanding this can help families respond with compassion rather than frustration. Instead of trying to force them back into normal social patterns, meet them in their quiet space. Speak gently, offer reassurance, and understand that your loving presence is felt even when they can't respond in their usual way. The fourth warning sign is frequent infections and dramatically slow healing. When the immune system begins failing, it's like watching the body's natural defense army lay down their weapons. Someone who rarely got sick now catches every bug that goes around, and what used to be minor illnesses now take weeks or months to resolve. Simple cuts and bruises heal at a snail's pace, and wounds may even reopen repeatedly. This happens because circulation is compromised, and the body's repair mechanisms are no longer functioning optimally. Pneumonia becomes a serious threat, urinary tract infections become recurring problems, and skin infections develop easily. Even with antibiotics, recovery takes much longer, and sometimes multiple rounds of treatment are needed for conditions that once cleared up quickly. Here's something many families don't realize. Infections in elderly individuals often don't present with typical symptoms. Instead of high fever, you might just notice increased confusion, loss of appetite, or unusual fatigue. A sudden change in mental alertness is often the first sign of infection, even before other symptoms appear. This is why staying alert to these subtle changes is so important. Poor circulation means that healing nutrients and oxygen aren't reaching tissues effectively. Pressure sores become a real danger for those with limited mobility, and chronic wounds may develop that simply won't heal properly. The skin becomes fragile, bruises easily, and takes forever to return to normal. The fifth and final warning sign involves significant changes in breathing patterns and circulation. This is often the most obvious sign that the body is preparing for its final transition. You might notice slower, shallower breathing, irregular patterns where breathing speeds up then slows down, or even periods where breathing seems to pause entirely. Some people develop what we call Cheyne-Stokes respiration, a rhythmic pattern of deep breaths followed by long pauses. Circulation changes become very apparent. Hands, feet, nose, and ears feel cold to the touch, even in warm rooms. The skin may appear pale, bluish, or develop a mottled appearance, especially in the extremities. This happens because the heart is working less efficiently and blood flow is being prioritized to vital organs rather than the arms and legs. Shortness of breath becomes noticeable with minimal exertion. Simply sitting up, speaking for a few minutes, or moving position may leave them feeling winded. They may need to sleep propped up on pillows because lying flat makes breathing more difficult. Sometimes fluid accumulates in the lungs, causing persistent coughing, gurgling sounds, or chest tightness that many mistake for simple congestion. These breathing changes can be frightening for families to witness, but in most cases, this is simply the natural slowing down process. Fighting against it or trying to force deeper breathing often creates more distress rather than providing relief. Now, as we consider all 5 of these warning signs together, the weight loss, the profound fatigue, the cognitive changes, the recurring infections, and the breathing difficulties, remember that these typically appear gradually over the course of a year before the final transition. They may not all happen simultaneously, and some may be more subtle than others, but when you start recognizing these patterns, it's the body's way of preparing for what's coming. Many families want to fight against these changes, to push their loved ones to eat more, move more, stay more engaged. But sometimes the most loving thing we can do is listen to what the body is telling us and focus on comfort, dignity, and meaningful connection rather than trying to reverse the inevitable. This knowledge isn't meant to create fear, it's meant to provide understanding and preparation. When you recognize these signs early, you can make informed decisions about care, have important conversations while there's still time, and ensure that those final months are filled with love, respect, and peaceful acceptance. If you're seeing these signs in someone you care about, take heart in knowing that you're not walking this path alone. Countless families have navigated this difficult journey, And while it's never easy, having knowledge and understanding can provide strength and peace during this profound transition. Your dedication to learning about these warning signs shows the depth of your love and commitment to your family members' well-being. This is exactly the kind of health wisdom that can transform a difficult situation into an opportunity for deeper connection and meaningful presence during life's most sacred transition. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We have so much more natural healing wisdom to explore together, and I don't want you to miss any of the life-changing information we'll be sharing. Your subscription also helps us reach more people who desperately need to know that healing is possible through God's natural design. I encourage you to share this vital information with others who may benefit from understanding these natural processes. Together, we can create communities of support and wisdom for families facing these challenging but profoundly meaningful times. What signs have you noticed in your own loved ones? Understanding these patterns is the first step toward providing the compassionate care our elderly deserve.